Title: The Last Hope. In a faraway galaxy, where stars twinkle like gems, there lived an alien race known as the Zorakians. They had bright blue skin, large eyes that sparkled with intelligence, and fingers that could manipulate things with great precision. Despite their beauty and intelligence, the Zorakians faced a grave situation. Their home planet, Zorak Prime, had become barren after years of war with another species. The galaxy had abandoned them, leaving them to fend for themselves. Among the Zorakians was a young scientist named Lyra. She was smart, curious, and had always believed in the power of hope. While other Zorakians had given up, Lyra worked tirelessly in her lab to find a way to save her people. She and her best friend, Kale, often dreamed of exploring far-off worlds in search of help. Kale was brave and optimistic, always encouraging Lyra not to lose faith. One day, as Lyra was conducting experiments on their last remaining crops, she discovered an ancient Zorakian star map. It spoke of a planet called Earth, inhabited by humans. The legend said that humans had unique abilities and compassion that could help others. Excitement filled Lyra's heart. "Kale, we must go to Earth," she exclaimed. "They might be our last hope." Kale raised an eyebrow. "But how will we get there? Our ships are damaged, and we might not even find it." Lyra smiled, her eyes shining with determination. "I have an idea. We can repair a small ship and set out. We must try." That evening, the two friends gathered a small team of fellow Zorakians. Zara, a skilled engineer, Ryan, a technician, and Elda, a healer. Together, they worked day and night, fixing the ship and preparing for their journey. The Zorakians shared their dreams and fears, creating a bond even stronger than before. Finally, after many long weeks, the ship was ready. With a heavy heart, the Zorakians bid farewell to Zorak Prime, knowing that this might be their last journey. They boarded the ship, filled with hope but also with uncertainty. As the ship soared into the stars, Lyra looked out at the twinkling lights of the galaxy, praying for a miracle. The journey through space was long and difficult. They faced meteor showers and strong cosmic winds, but they worked together, supporting one another and learning new skills. After many grueling days, they finally approached Earth. A beautiful blue planet came into view, surrounded by clouds and oceans. They landed in a remote forest, hidden from prying eyes. As they stepped out of their ship, they felt awe at the beauty of Earth. The trees were tall, and the sky was a brilliant blue. They began their search for humans, wondering if they would be welcomed or feared. While exploring the forest, they stumbled upon a small village. The villagers noticed the strange newcomers and gathered around, whispering and pointing. Some were frightened, while others were curious. Soon, a kind woman named Clara stepped forward. She had a warm smile and gentle eyes. "Welcome, travelers." "Who are you?" she asked. Lyra took a deep breath and explained their situation. She spoke of the barren planet, the war, and their desperate need for help. Clara listened intently and nodded. "We must gather the village. The world can be harsh, but we can help." Clara hurried back to the village, and soon many villagers gathered. Among them was a young boy named Leo, who was fascinated by the glowing Zorakians. "Can I help?" he asked eagerly. The Zorakians felt happiness bloom in their hearts as they realized that there was kindness on this planet. Days passed, and the Zorakians worked alongside the villagers. Zara and Ryan taught them about technology, while Elda shared healing herbs and remedies. In return, the villagers showed them how to grow crops and care for animals. They shared laughter and stories, delighting in their differences and finding joy in their shared efforts. However, not everyone was pleased with the Zorakians' presence. A powerful man in the village named Thomas was suspicious. He believed the Zorakians could be a threat to their peaceful life. One evening, he gathered a group of villagers and confronted Lyra and her friends. "You must leave. We don't know if we can trust you." Lyra stood tall, her heart racing. "We only want to help. We are not your enemies." She could see fear in Thomas's eyes and realized that they needed to prove their worth. Determined, the Zorakians and villagers decided to work together to show Thomas that they meant no harm. They planned a grand festival to celebrate their friendship and unity. Everyone worked hard to prepare. The Zorakians shared their music and dances, while the villagers prepared delicious food and games. On the day of the festival, the village was alive with laughter and joy. Colorful lights illuminated the night, and music filled the air. The villagers watched in amazement as the Zorakians performed their dance, twirling and shimmering under the stars. Thomas remained skeptical, but began to see the joy around him. As the night continued, he noticed how everyone was enjoying themselves, laughing, eating, and celebrating. Finally, as the festival reached its peak, Thomas realized that he had been wrong. He stepped forward, a smile breaking across his face. "I see now that you are here as friends. Together, we can be stronger." Cheers erupted from the crowd as the Zorakians felt a sense of belonging for the first time in ages. As weeks turned into months, Earth became a home for the Zorakians. They thrived alongside humans, sharing knowledge, culture, and compassion. Lyra often looked up at the stars, feeling grateful for the journey that had brought them together. They had escaped the abandonment of the galaxy and found hope and friendship, a true savior in humanity. In the end, the Zorakians learned that no matter how vast the universe could be, kindness and understanding could bridge the distances, bringing together even the most different of worlds. In a distant galaxy, a vibrant planet named Valoria thrived with life. The Valorians, a race of advanced creatures with shimmering scales and bright eyes, were known for their deep connection to nature and their telepathic abilities. They lived in harmony with their surroundings and could communicate with animals and plants. The Valorians had a profound understanding of the universe and often explored new worlds. One day, as their great council met in the Crystal Dome, the leader of the Valorians, Xynthia, spoke with worry. "Fellow Valorians, we have been sensing a disturbance in all corners of the galaxy. Our scouts report that other species have started to turn against us. We must prepare for what is coming." Horan, a brave warrior with deep blue scales, stood up. "We cannot abandon our way of life. We should reach out to our neighbors and prove our goodwill." Xynthia nodded but remained concerned. "Not all races are welcoming. Some see our powers as a threat." After days of debate, the council decided to send ambassadors to nearby planets. Among them was Mira, a young Valorian with a knack for diplomacy. She offered bright ideas and a hopeful spirit, believing that connection could triumph over fear. "Let me go to the planet Earth," she said. "Its inhabitants are known for their creativity and courage. They might help us." The council agreed, and Mira set off in a sleek starship. As she neared Earth, she marveled at its blue oceans and green forests. The ship landed in a meadow near a small town. Curious humans approached, whispering about the strange craft. Mira stepped out, her shimmering scales catching the sunlight. A crowd gathered, and among them was a young girl named Lily. She had big brown eyes and a heart full of adventure. "Are you a fairy?" Lily asked in awe. "Not a fairy," Mira replied with a smile. "I am here to seek friendship. My people need help." Some people gasped, while others looked skeptical. A man named Tom, a farmer with a kind face, stepped forward. "What do you need, strange visitor?" Mira explained the troubles in her galaxy, how the Valorians had been abandoned and chased away. Many humans were surprised to hear her story, while others argued about whether to trust her. "We should help," Lily exclaimed. "They sound nice." Tom chuckled. "You're a brave girl, but we need to talk more about this." The humans invited Mira to their town hall. There, she shared stories about Valoria's lush forests and colorful festivals. Her words painted pictures in the minds of the audience, and slowly, curiosity turned into empathy. As days passed, Mira and the townsfolk grew close. Lily became her best friend, always asking questions and smiling brightly. "Can you show me how you read the thoughts of animals?" she asked one day. Mira grinned and nodded. Together, they ventured into the fields, where Mira connected with the birds and insects, sharing thoughts that made Lily giggle. The bond between Mira and the humans deepened. One afternoon, as they gathered in the town square, a spaceship suddenly darkened the sky. It was a fleet of ships from the neighboring planets, ready to invade Earth. The Valorians were not the only ones in danger. "Why are they here?" questioned Tom, panic rising in his voice. "They think humans are hiding a Valorian. We must warn them," Mira urged. The townspeople scrambled, spreading the news. In mere minutes, the town was filled with anxiety. The brave humans huddled together, forming a plan. They decided to unite through friendship and fight back against those who meant harm. Mira sent a telepathic message to the Valorians, urging them to come to Earth. "We will stand together," she said, her heart racing. The time had come to prove that connection could face any threat. As the first Valorian ships entered Earth's atmosphere, the humans cheered. Xynthia and the council members stepped out, shimmering and powerful. "Together, we can show them our strength," she declared. The invading fleet landed, and their leader stepped down, harsh and imposing. "You think you can defend this planet? You are no match for us," their leader shouted, his voice rumbling like thunder. But Mira stood firm. "We do not fight with weapons. We fight with unity, courage, and friendship." Lily stepped forward, clutching a flower. "You should see how their beauty connects us all," she said, her voice bold. "Let us show you." Inspired by Lily's spirit, the Valorians and humans held hands, linking their thoughts together. In unison, they shared visions of peace and love with the invaders, showing them the beauty of both worlds. At first, the invaders were resistant, but slowly they began to soften. Experienced in war and conflict, they were unprepared for feelings that flooded their minds. They could see the joy in the Valorians' homes, the laughter of children, and the love shared among friends. As they watched, some of the invaders stepped back, their anger replaced with understanding. Their leader, taken aback, murmured, "What is this? I can feel hope." "Choose love over war," Xynthia urged. "We can all share the universe without conflict." After a long silence, the invading team lowered their weapons. "We don't want to fight," the leader admitted. "We only want to protect our own. We misunderstood." Lily beamed with hope, and the Valorians took a step closer. They offered their hands, bridging the gap. "Let us work together," Mira said. "We can learn from each other." That day marked the beginning of a new era. The Valorians and humans formed a strong alliance, teaching each other, helping each other flourish. The surrounding galaxies that had once abandoned the Valorians now looked upon them with newfound respect. As time passed, humans visited Valoria, and Valorians visited Earth. They shared their cultures, and friendships blossomed across the stars. Together, they stood as a beacon of hope for others facing darkness. Mira, Lily, Xynthia, and Tom became legends, their story reminding everyone that even through despair, love and unity could shine bright, leading the way to a better future, no matter how abandoned one might feel. In this galaxy and beyond, they were no longer alone. Asterisk Zebo, the main alien character, a young and hopeful scientist. Asterisk Glar, Zebo's skeptical and older mentor. Asterisk Captain Eva Rostova, a human space explorer, brave and compassionate. Asterisk Dr. Eris Thorne, a human scientist, curious and intelligent. Hashtag the abandoned. The planet Xylos was dying. Its once vibrant purple forests were now skeletal. The shimmering silver rivers choked with dust, and the twin suns beat down with merciless intensity. The Zidonians, a race of gentle, four-armed beings with skin like polished jade, were facing extinction. For centuries, they had been a respected member of the Galactic Federation, contributing their scientific prowess and artistic flair to the vast tapestry of the cosmos. But when Xylos began its slow, agonizing decline, the Federation turned its back. Resources were stretched thin, they claimed. Xylos was too far, too difficult to save. Zebo, a young Zidonian scientist, refused to accept this fate. He spent his days hunched over ancient consoles in the deserted research labs, his four hands flying across the controls. He was searching for anything, any solution, any forgotten technology that could save his people. His hope was a flickering flame in the encroaching darkness. "It's pointless," Zebo, Glar, his older mentor, would often say, his voice heavy with resignation. Glar had seen civilizations rise and fall, had witnessed the cold indifference of the galaxy. "The Federation has abandoned us. We are alone. But we can't give up, Glar," Zebo would reply, his jade skin flushed with urgency. "There has to be something. We can't just let Xylos die. One day, While sifting through data archives, Zebo stumbled upon a forgotten file. It spoke of a primitive race, a species that had only recently ventured beyond their own solar system, a race called humans. The file contained fragmented information about their technology, their resilience, and their surprising capacity for empathy. It was a long shot, a desperate gamble, but Zebo saw a spark of hope. "Glar, look at this," he exclaimed, pulling up the file on the main screen. "The humans, they might be our only chance." Glar approached the screen, his multiple eyes scanning the information with skepticism. "Humans? They are barely out of their own cradle. What could they possibly do for us? They are resourceful, Glar, and they are compassionate. The data suggests they value life, even alien life. It's worth a try, isn't it?" Glar sighed, his shoulders slumping. "Do what you must, Zebo, but don't get your hopes up. The galaxy is a cruel place." Zebo didn't listen. He activated the ancient subspace transmitter, a relic from Xylos's more prosperous days. He sent a message, a plea for help, into the vast emptiness of space, targeting the coordinates of the human solar system. He waited, his heart pounding with a mixture of hope and dread. Weeks turned into months. The situation on Xylos worsened. Food and water became scarce. Despair began to grip the Zydonian population. Zebo continued to monitor the transmitter, but the silence was deafening. He began to lose hope himself. Then one day, a signal, a weak but unmistakable signal. Zebo rushed to the transmitter, his hands trembling. He managed to establish a connection. "This is Captain Eva Rostova of the human vessel Starseeker." A voice crackled through the speakers. "We receive your message. Can you hear me?" Zebo could barely speak. Tears welled up in his many eyes. "Yes, we hear you. Thank you. Thank you for answering our call." Captain Rostova's voice was calm and professional. "We are en route to your location. Please provide us with more information about your situation." Zebo explained everything. The dying planet, the Federation's abandonment, the Zydonians' desperation. Captain Rostova listened patiently. "We will do what we can to help," she said finally. "But I must be honest, our resources are limited. We are just a small exploration vessel." "Anything you can do would be a gift," Zebo replied. "We are eternally grateful." The Starseeker arrived in the Xylos system a few weeks later. It was a small ship compared to the massive cruisers of the Federation, but to the Zydonians, it was a beacon of hope. Captain Rostova, a woman with fiery red hair and determined eyes, led a small team down to surface. Among them was Dr. Eris Thorne, a brilliant scientist with a thirst for knowledge. They were greeted by Zebo and Glar. The humans were immediately struck by the Zydonians' gentle nature and the beauty of their once thriving civilization, now ravaged by decay. "We are so sorry to see your planet in this condition," Captain Rostova said, her voice filled with genuine sorrow. "We thank you for coming," Zebo replied. "You are our last hope." Dr. Thorne began to examine the planet's environment, taking samples and running tests. He quickly realized the severity of the situation. Xylos's core was cooling, causing the planet's atmosphere to thin and its magnetic field to weaken. The twin suns were now bombarding the surface with deadly radiation. "It's worse than we thought," Dr. Thorne reported to Captain Rostova. "I don't know if we can reverse the core cooling, but we might be able to mitigate the effects of the radiation." Over the next few weeks, the humans worked tirelessly alongside the Zydonians. They set up radiation shields, developed new water purification systems, and taught the Zydonians sustainable farming techniques. It was a monumental effort, but they were making progress. Glar, who had initially been skeptical, was amazed by the humans' dedication and ingenuity. "They are remarkable," he admitted to Zebo. "They have so little, yet they give so much." "I told you," Zebo said, smiling. "They are compassionate." But the humans knew that these were just temporary solutions. Xylos was still dying. The only way to save the Zydonians was to evacuate them to a new home. "We can't take everyone," Captain Rostova said, her face grim. "Our ship is too small." "We understand," Zebo replied, But perhaps you could take a few, the young, the scientists, those who can help rebuild our civilization elsewhere. And so, a difficult decision was made. The Starseeker took on board a select group of Zidonians, including Zebo and Glar. They left Xylos behind, a dying world, but they carried with them the hope of a new beginning. As the Starseeker jumped into hyperspace, Zebo looked back at the fading image of his home planet. He felt a pang of sadness, but also a sense of gratitude. The galaxy had abandoned them, but humanity had offered them a lifeline. They were not alone. They had found a savior in the most unexpected of places. The journey ahead would be long and arduous, but Zebo knew that with the help of their new human friends, the Zidonians would find a way to thrive once more. Their future was uncertain, but for the first time in a long time, they had hope.